actually won something. This is the most important area for the werewolves in the sept that you belong to when we start the game. There is another sept, as it's called, and the sept, it should be said, is a group of werewolves that belongs to one of these holy places, the ones that guard it and defend it and go to it regularly and hang out there and so on. That's what's called a sept. S-E-P-T.
Septs have, like, particular names, like the Sept of blah, 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 blah.
Yes, they do, usually. And the one in Dublin is called the Raven's Eye Sept.
Okay.
I hadn't actually entered that anywhere, but it is the case. The reason for this, of course, is that the major spirits in this sept, and werewolves are extremely spiritual creatures, the spirit that the ravens... the ravens... called the Raven's Eye. Here. And the reason for that is that the major spirit in this sept is a raven spirit, which is a spirit of prophecy, and they are exceptionally rare. And very, very, very powerful.
What's it called, the special spirit here?
It's just called Raven. They usually just refer to it by the animal's type. Okay, so the Raven is it is also, Raven is actually mentioned in one of the fluff files I sent you as one of the VIS's, very important spirits.
Spirit of prophecy.
Yes. And here we go.
There's a big ugly pink slab of text below the picture.
Ah, yes.
I can't see anything.
You can see the map of the green, right?
Yeah.
Scroll down a little bit.
There's some pink letters.
Yes. That's what he was talking about. He just wrote that.
Spirit of the Sept Raven, Spirit of Prophecy.
Yes. This is also, as I said, it is also listed in the one called More Werewolf Fluff.
Yeah.
In there is even an image of Raven, as well as several other important spirits in and around Dublin, including some of the nasties, some of the evil ones.
Cool.
And again, I can recommend that people read the fluff files. They are, as I said, I know they're large, but I put a lot of work into them, so I hope people will read them.
Mm-hmm. I did once. I'll probably reread them.
Yeah, it's a good read, if only to, like, sort of get a sniff of the attitudes of the place.
Yes.
Like, even if you're thinking, I have my character down pretty great, reading this will at least give you a perspective on, like, how people think. At least this one ragabash asshole.
Yes.
Yeah.
Snickering sneaker.
Poor Gaia.
Oh, God. Siobhan O'Leary has a hard time.
What?
There are two people writing these two fluff files. One is a Fiana Gaillard, and Fiana is one of the tribes. They are the tribe that are native to Ireland, and by far the most powerful tribe in all of the country of Ireland. And a Gaillard means that they are one of the hardest fighters they have. They're not the actual warriors. They are, however, the poets, the singers, the skalds, all these artistic types. And her name is Siobhan O'Leary, and O'Leary she's a fairly pissed off person. And the ragabash that she constantly refers to as someone she wants to turn into a pretzel is the guy writing the other fluff file.
Okay.
Good old...
Snickering sneaker. Snickering sneaker.
Yes, little Polish git.
Yes. He's a Pole who happens to live in Dublin. He's very much a ragabash. Holy smokes.
So when we're starting this game, our characters will be between how old and how old?
You start out being 14, 15 years old when you create the characters. The first 3 game sessions are going to be a prequel.
Cool.
Okay.
And then by the so you basically you pick your gifts as they're called, when we get to that. But you don't have them when we start the first one. The idea is you get a gift every time we complete one of the prequel chapters. And they will be fairly short little things.
Are we... sorry, you had more to say?
Yeah, and then when we get done with the prequel, then obviously we are into the story, proper. And when we get there, you should be 17 or 18 years old.
All right.
What gifts?
Gifts are supernatural abilities that werewolves have and use, much like a vampire would call their supernatural abilities disciplines. The werewolves call them gifts.
Yeah, the reason they're called gifts is that they are actually gifts.
Yes.
You ask a spirit for them, and the spirit then gifts you an ability.
Yes.
Cool.
Which is pretty cool. Of course, the spirit will usually want something in return, but yes. So
spirits are notoriously chill and also hard to... They're hard to place, right? Because there are always the classic asshole spirits who are like, yes, I can do this for you. However, I will be wanting some form of favor at an undisclosed time depending on your most likely inconvenience.
Yes.
And then there are the spirits who are like, yeah, you just check out the sunrise tomorrow. Okay. That's fine.
Real hippies, basically, yes.
Because it's like different things are important to them.
Yeah.
You'd be like, please don't tread on the grass. Right?
Yeah, exactly.
That would be a problem, but okay.
Yeah. However, this the one thing that I do think will be important for everyone to read is the part in these files where the different tribes are described, obviously, and the different auspices and the different breeds. And it's also quite important to know how each tribe is perceived in the city. What I will do is I am writing a tiny little file, a page, maximum of 2 pages, for each of you individually, depending on what tribe and auspice you are going to play, because you are going to get a little mail or a little letter or something in character from someone who will then be able to basically help you.
There is one thing I would suggest everyone do now before we start talking characters.
Yes.
Because it's true, Joan has written a lot of good stuff about the auspices and the tribes, but we're here, we can talk it out, right?
Oh, yeah,
For most parts, we could probably go away from tonight with completed characters. The one thing people should have a note of is in the document Joan has linked in the Skype chat called Game Information. This is a 7-page document. On the 6th page is something that is of great importance to character creation. It's a table of what are we actually allowed to play.
Yes.
So that is perhaps the most important thing you could do right now is when we're going to pick auspices and tribes. Have a look at that, because we can't play Silverfang runes, for example.
Example, yes. I am placing a few restrictions on people like that, and the one thing I will end up by saying before we go to the actual picking of things is I want one of every auspice. There are 6 players, so it should be doable easily. There will be one auspice that has 2 players, but I want one of each. I also want a maximum of one Glasswalker, and I want a minimum of one Fiana.
That's fine with me.
That's fine with me. Joan, you know what I've already kind of picked. Is that all right? Is that accepted?
Well, it's fine with me, but obviously you should figure out between you guys what it is you want to play, and I am right here to answer questions of what these different things mean.
Guys, if you don't allow me to get what I want, I hate you all.
That's fine. We want
you
that
will
hate.
not be invited to my next birthday.
We want that hate. It's gonna drive your character to excel.
I would much prefer to play Fiana and Arun.
Helle, what were you saying?
I said I'm happy as long as I can be a Ragabash.
That's fine.
Okay, so we have a contender for the Ragabash.
Yes.
Before, I guess I was gonna ask, does anyone object to Helle playing a Ragabash? And then I thought, does everyone understand what a Ragabash is?
I was just about to say, let's go down to the very basics of the game.
Yep.
What do we do first?
First,
Joan, you probably have this.
Yes, I will. Basically, I'm going to go through this with each, with all of you, one step at a time, starting here.
I have looked absolutely not at all into this.
No.
Character name Herbal McDurble.
Start out with a name. If you open your character sheets under the header character sheet, those are some of the first things that need to be filled out. And as you can see, this start with the one called Basics.
Alternatively, if you want to, tip it over to the one called All, if you don't want to switch fans.
Yeah, you can do that if you want to.
Yeah, it's a really nice addition that they have the all.
Yeah. And
also, I like the claw marks to open those stuff.
It is pretty cool. It is pretty cool. I love the look of this character sheet, actually.
I've already filled mine out a bit. I hope that you don't mind that.
No, that's fine. We're just going to take it one step at a time, as I said. So, name first.
Okay.
Whoever
I don't have a name right now. I'll
The Chronicle, of course, is a song at Tara.
A song at Tara.
Yes. Then we get to the good stuff. Breed, Auspice, and Tribe. Breed is simple. It means, were you born to human parents? All of you except a maximum of 2 will be this way. If you are born that way, you are what's called a homid, H-O-M-I-D. These are the... Yeah?
No, go ahead.
A homid is a person who understands the world as humans understand it, because that's the world you've grown up in. It is by far the easiest easiest breed to play.
I'm just gonna write Homid.
Yeah.
Me too.
Same.
The other 2, they are open. You can have a maximum of 1 of each of the next 2. The next one is called a Metis, M-I-T-I-S. M-E-T-I-S. A Metis is a werewolf that has 2 werewolf parents. They're sterile. They're misshapen in some way. They have some kind of deformity. And they are universally looked down upon by every other werewolf out there, because basically the 2 werewolves mating is highly illegal inside werewolf society.
It's a sins of the father thing.
It's essentially no, not so much that, but the Ametis, when they are born, is that they are tainted, and that's why they're misshapen, and
it's
that
like
taint is a weakness. It's seen as a weakness by others. Besides, when a Metis is born, 9 cases out of 10, they kill their mother because they literally tear their way out of her.
Yeah.
They're born in their war form.
Exactly. The final one is Lupus, and as the name suggests, these are werewolves born to wolf parents. This means that they see the world as wolves do. They do not understand human mating rituals, and they can't see the point in not pissing on people's shoes to mark their territory.
Oh, I'm tempted.
They have there are certain things they can't take in terms of stats, because a lupus can't, for example, have access to resources because money. They do, however, have an enormously powerful connection to the spirit world.
Yeah, I was gonna say all of these choices of breed. This affects basically how your character grew up, of course.
Yeah.
It also has a game mechanical effect in that people who are born as humans have the least connection to the spiritual, and to Gaia.
Yeah.
People who are born Metis have the second most powerful, and people who are born Lupus have the most powerful connection to the spiritual and to Gaia. It also affects what kind of gifts we can start with. We don't start with gifts, but
we will get to the gifts later. The other thing about being lupus is you're rare. You're very, very rare. And most werewolves will look upon you with... They will have a more positive attitude to you. Most of them will start slightly less likely to dislike you, because there are so few of your kind left, and they are so important to the werewolves.
I need to ask something.
Your cause an echo.
I was going to say, does Rasmus have his headset on?
Yeah.
Okay, because there's an echo, and I'm not used to that.
Yeah.
Is it still there? Should I talk some? Maybe that'll help.
Maybe it'll help. That seems.
I hear no echo now.
Actually, yeah, exactly. So yes, that is that is what the breed means. Lupus werewolves need to be played as wolves, but they can be incredibly funny, and they do add a lot of dynamic to a group. Being metis means that you have, as I said, the second most connection to the spirit world. However, they are looked down upon. They will always be Pac Omega by definition. And
they are reviled.
By some tribes more than others. But the Fiana are notorious for treating mates really badly.
Yeah. You make a bone gnawer, they don't give a shit.
Yeah, but exactly. Anyway, those are the three breeds. The next one is the moon phase you were born under, because obviously we're werewolves here. We have to deal with the moon.
Ooh.
Or Luna, as they call her.
Where do you write this in the character sheet?
In the one called Auspice.
Yes.
Okay.
These are the auspices of the moon. And they are, if you look at the file that Daniel suggested people go look at, they are Ragabash, Thurge, Philodox, Gaillard, and Arun. A Ragabash is... I'll be brief and easy about this. There's much more in the files that you can read. But the Ragabashes are the tricksters, the ones who they won't take anything too seriously. They will play practical jokes on everyone. And they will do so because if they don't, everyone else will start taking themselves way too seriously. And they don't want that. That's their role in werewolf society, is to be the prankster, the one who can get away with shit nobody else can get away with.
Should I just make a guy and make his name Loki?
Yeah. If you make one called Loki, you're gonna have to make a get of Fenris, and I would love you forever if you did it. But that's the Ragabash. The next one in line is the Thurge. The Thurge is
the shaman.
They're the shamans. They're the priesthood of the werewolves, the ones who talk to the spirits, the ones who do the healing, for that matter. The werewolves have a healing factor to shame Wolverine. But once in a blue moon, they come across something that really, really hurts, and then it's nice to have a Thurge on hand. Mm-hmm. Because they can patch you up nice and tight.
Silver stings.
Silver really, really hurts.
Yes, I remember that from your document about the Thurge that dropped whales on people.
Yes, there's a Thurge in the Dublin Sept who once dropped a sperm whale on people because he summoned the spirit of a sperm whale and just let it fall on his enemies.
Splat.
Yeah, as they say in the file, there's still remnants of that person in the tarmac where it happened. So yes, they are also the primary summoners of the ones who summon spirits and interact with them and so on. So that's the Thurge.
Oh, right, and just for flavor, Ragabashes are born under a new moon. Thurges are under a sickle moon.
Yes. Then we have the half moons called Philodox. A Philodox is the judge, the neutral party, the one who, when two werewolves are in disagreement and in danger of tearing each other's throats out, a Philodox will be the one who steps in and says, these are the rules, this is how you're going to settle this, and I'm going to be the final judge on which one of you wins. This, of course, also means that they actually have to be neutral.
Yeah, it also means that they have to be respected.
Yes.
Losing respect, as a Philodox, if you lose respect, it means it's hard for you to settle anything.
Yeah, exactly. And that is the second auspice. The next auspice is the Gaillard. Never mind how it's spelled. It is pronounced Gaillard. It's a French word.
Definitely.
They are singers, storytellers, dancers, artists, and very, very powerful warriors. But they are also, in Ireland particularly, they are seen as the leaders. Most everywhere else, it's the Aruns who are the leaders. In Ireland, where the Fianna rule, the Gaillards are in charge. They're the ones who can not only deal some serious damage, but they can also write a pretty story about it afterwards and make everyone else go, ah.
I want to be nitpicking here for just a second and say, yes. I'm assuming you mean the Alpha is always in charge, but out of respect for tradition, that tends to be the Gaia.
Yes, yes. The time where Ari, or the High King, was not a Gaillard in Ireland is... I don't think anybody can remember that.
But yeah, Gaillards are born under the gibbous moon, by the way.
Yes, the one that looks like an almost full moon. Yeah. And finally, the Aruns. Or Aruns.
Mm-hmm.
They are they are the warriors. They are the most angry, the least controllable, and the most violent of all of them. They are the ones who will tear tanks apart. Literally. But they are also, in many other places, as I said, they are seen as the leaders. They are not in Ireland. But they are hugely valued because the werewolf society is surrounded by enemies on all sides. And having strong warriors around is an absolute necessity. So people respect them. But quite a few werewolves also... not fear them, but they worry because they can be fire and forget missiles.
Even the humble Ragabash is a werewolf, is a Garou, therefore has rage.
Yes.
All werewolves are Gaia's berserkers.
All of them. Some more than others, because as you once said, Daniel, and this is true, the angriest human being who ever lived doesn't have a rage stat. Even a Ragabash has 1 point of rage. So yes, they are very angry creatures.
Yeah. It just shows differently.
Yes.
I got the impression everyone was Homid.
You can all be Homids if you want.
Yeah, right? So
I'm actually wondering on making a lupus.
Yeah, you should...
But I really can't decide because I'm feeling a lupus can't be a glass former.
You will need to write the mother of all background stories to justify that, because they, generally speaking, don't mate with wolves anymore in that tribe.
Yep. And I kind of like the glasswalkers and the idea I had for my girl, but lupus have a stronger affinity for the spirits, and if you want to be a third...
Yeah.
I want to say for my Auspice, I am leaning on Arun. I want to pick Arun.
Me too.
That means we have 3 people who would like to be Arun.
Then we have to resolve that.
It is a problem because she wants at least one of every...
Okay, so Rasmus, Heine, and I want to play Aruns.
Yeah.
Does anyone feel like, oh no, the character I have envisioned could easily also be this other thing?
The one thing, the 2 things that we don't have filled out so far would be the Philodox and the Gaillard.
I would like to throw out there that my original concept, and I'd like to stick by it, had me playing a Gaillard.
Alright, that means we only need a Philodox.
Does anyone feel like going Philodox?
I'd say that the rough concept I have in mind works best within a room.
I am probably going to want to. I mean, if no one is willing to give, we're gonna probably solve it with a dice toss, I guess.
I'll read up on the Philodox again. I might be able to make it work. I'll have to look at it though.
I would personally. I want to say. I want to say. I think we should resolve it now and just move on.
I think you're right.
So
I would like to know what I'm choosing.
Obviously, but then we can take a few seconds for you to read up on it. I mean, it's not like the Gaillard entry, the Philodox entry isn't 10 pages long.
No, it's not. I'll just be quiet and read it.
I will throw out as well that I am prepared to change to Philodox if someone feels that the concept they created would work second best with a Gaia instead of an Arun. I can see myself playing either version, either Auspice with my character concept as it is.
Philodoxes on average are the wisest werewolves.
Well, that precludes me then, doesn't it? Well, I could try playing a wise character, but we'll see.
I'll read before I join the conversation again.
Sure.
Yep. I'll actually say the wisest werewolves are usually the Thurges. The Philodoxes are the most even-handed.
I could definitely see that. I wanted to kind of move away from the notion that Thurges were the most wise, considering that they have a tendency to also be the most mad.
No.
There's a quote. There's that quote, isn't there, about genius and madness? And
yes. And being very close together, yes.
I kind of had the idea of my little girl, my little Taryn, suddenly turns into a fucking werewolf, and her entire life is just like crashed. The glass door underneath her disappearing, and she's in a world she doesn't understand.
While Rasmus is quietly reading this, perhaps we should talk to AJ about her choice of breed. Because you were leaning a bit on maybe lupus, but then you had the troubles of you want to play a glasswalker, that issue?
I made a glasswalker. I must have deleted that character. But
let's assume you still want to play glasswalker.
Make a glasswalker, yes.
Alright, do you feel like
an American girl moving to Ireland for high school?
Yeah.
And this is where she is now, and then snap werewolf.
Alright, so if she moves from America to Ireland for high school, that then, at least to me, assumes that she's a human.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, definitely.
But then it was said that the strongest affinity with spirits was lupus.
Yeah, but not the... I want to be clear that in saying that, humans can definitely have a very high affinity. They can start with a higher affinity than lupus, because it's all a matter of how many points are you spending on your gnosis stat.
Yes.
All right.
But lupus start with a lot more.
Yes, gnosis is the spiritual energy of all werewolves, and a homid starts with 1, and a lupus starts with 5. However, as I said, there are also definite drawbacks to playing a lupus, because there are loads of skills you can't use, because you have to be human to know.
You're a dog?
Yeah, and you don't understand how human society works.
No. Well,
that's usually a toughie.
Actually were, like a Siberian husky that once were a wolf. Then you could have grown up in a world, but that would be, they walk me so I pee outside, and then they feed me, and they pet me, and I like that.
If it was a Siberian husky thing, then you wouldn't actually be a glasswalker, you would be a bone gnawer.
Yeah,
because they
that would
dogs.
Be what could have been, right?
Yeah.
I'm back, guys.
Dog, because they are never anywhere near, because...
Incidentally, I kept hearing the echo while Rasmus had his microphone turned off, so I think it may be someone else.
In that case, I'm going to grab a headset just to make sure it's not on my end.
Yep.
My decision is that I will play a Philodox if nobody objects, but I'll probably change my tribe to a Black Fury then.
Yeah.
To keep the confrontational and angry nature.
Yep. That makes sense. Yeah, that's fine with me.
Alright, that sounds cool.
So that means that Daniel and I don't get to come to your birthday party.
Yeah. I hate you. And I will, whenever I have to make a decision that involves you, favor whoever is not you.
Once we pick up on that, we are going to curb stomp the shit out of you.
You choose to play the Philodox instead?
What did you say?
I'm asking if it was Philodox-like of you to choose to play the Philodox.
Yes.
Very much
Probably was, yeah.
I rather like that. That's a nicely caught there, Haley. Nicely caught.
It's not me. I have a headset in and I still heard the echo.
Yeah. It's weird.
Well, it doesn't matter.
Very weird.
It's not terribly important, right?
I'm putting in a headset too, so if it's me, it should disappear in 3, 2, 1, and...
Let's try... Oh, I'm no echo.
Yeah, it was me then.
Okay, cool.
Anyway,
That explains why I didn't hear an echo on you.
I'm guessing next up is tribe.
Next up is indeed the tribe. And this is where it gets, in my opinion, really nice, really funny. Because the tribes, if you look down there in the file that was sent your way, those are the tribes that are available to you. There is one more tribe on there, or that should be on there, but they're not available to play. They're called Red Talons, and they are a bunch of absolute homicidal maniacs who want to wipe up every human being on the planet.
Yeah.
I think, poking my GM in the chops, that you mean there are two tribes. There are no Stargazers.
No, there are no Stargazers, but that's because by the time we play, they vanished.
Yeah, they're behind the Tibetan barrier, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
The what?
Tibet is like a bubble of weird supernatural bull hockey in World of Darkness, and a barrier appeared there, probably made by the Akashic Brotherhood of Mages, but nobody knows. And the Stargazer tribe retreated behind that because they were tired of the Garou Nation's bullshit and their roar and beat their chest agenda.
Yep.
So the Stargazers
they're all sitting on a mountaintop in Tibet, so they are not available for play either.
Cool.
Fun or maybe not so fun fact. In my world, a Stargazer is a corn snake with a severe genetic defect. That means that when it lies at rest, instead of having its head down like normal, it looks up. Hence the name Stargazer. And it has very bad coordination. They will often, when crawling about, end up on their back and still try to continue forwards. And they are very bad at hitting their food when they strike.
Cool.
That's the Stargazer in my world, and it's not cool.
No,
it's hereditary.
So I would like to.
But I like the fact that there was something that it actually means. Yeah.
I know we're gonna head into the tribes now and describe them. I want to just get out of the way right now because I know the tribes, you know the tribes. I just want to tell you, Joan, that I mean to pick a Shadow Lord because I was balancing between Bone Gnawer and Shadow Lord, and I decided if I'm a Bone Gnawer, I can't really start shit. So I'm picking a Shadow Lord for the sole purpose of I can start shit.
Everyone can start shit.
Kinda sounds like he's doing one as well.
I'd like to say, yes, oh god, I was about to say, it wouldn't surprise me that Daniel would play.
You're breaking up.
Yeah.
I caught it wouldn't surprise you that Daniel would pick one because then I could. And then I'm assuming you were about to say something nosy.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's surprising because it doesn't surprise me Daniel would pick the characters famous for being the most arrogant pricks in the entire...
No.
I lost my outlet, okay? Malik is on hiatus.
Fair enough. Okay, here's the thing.
Yeah. Let's go
there
try.
Has to be, before I get to explaining these things, there has to be one Fiana in here because, as I said, they are the dominant tribe in Ireland. It is their country. So someone has to play one of them.
Yeah.
I will bend over backwards over the chair to have someone play again a Fenris.
What? A Fenris?
Get a Fenris are the Nordic ones. We'll get to that. Anyway, I'll take them one at a time. The Fiana, or as they're spelled, Fiana, but that's not how it's pronounced. It's called Fiana. They are the Irish werewolves. They are great lore keepers, great bards, great singers, great drunkards, and amazing fighters. They're also a bunch of exclusionary pricks who treat mates extraordinarily badly, and who, generally speaking, don't like many other werewolves very much. But they can be the best friends in the world if you can make them warm up to you. They do simply have this confrontational edge, saying, we've fought for over 1,000 years for Ireland, and the rest of you just walk in here. You have no right to tell us how to run our world, our country, and our tribe. And it doesn't always mean that others are trying to tell them that. The Fiana will still get up on their soapbox and do that. Just on general principle, because that's how they are. They're the most sociable of tribes, if we're going by stereotypes. They are, but they are also the ones... You will go out for a beer with them, And you're probably also going to get into a fist fight with them. And then once you've had the fist fight with them, they will buy you another beer, slap you on the shoulder, and think the world of you.
They're Harald and Helkill.
Yeah. They really are.
Because they should be get a Fenris, but then...
Yeah. Then we have the Bone Gnawers. Bone Gnawers are...
the funniest, the best. Bone Gnawers number 1.
Bone Gnawers are amazing. They're not so much werewolves anymore as they're weremutts. They breed with anything with 4 legs that go woof. They are also the only tribe with a population increase.
Why?
All other tribes are dying out.
All other tribes are dying out, the Bone Gnawers are not. Because the Bone Gnawers will hump anything. They smell bad, they stink, then they smell bad a little more. And they look like stray dogs, and everybody else tends to think of them like, oh, do we really have to accept these things being, oh god, go away. But everybody needs them, because nobody knows a city half as well as a Bone Gnawer, not even Glasswalkers. Because the Bone Gnawers live in the alleyways and in the streets. They look like homeless people when they're in human form. They look like bums. Usually they are bums. But they know every nook and cranny. They know all the spirits of but I know this little rat spirit that lives in this back alley, and he might have seen something, that sort of thing.
Yeah, we
a Bone Gnawer Lupus.
Yeah.
Because that sounds amazing.
Bone Gnawers are like...
the funniest shit ever!
Inbred mutts.
Yes!
It sounds amazing!
Like,
they are the funniest creatures in history.
A Bone Gnawer Thurge is the kind of Thurge who will reliably tell you to go this way because the spirit of the traffic signal on 3rd Street is his friend.
Yes, and I will give you an idea of just how Bone Gnawers really are. They have a tribal gift called Cook Anything. I think they might have renamed it, but originally it was called Cook Anything.
Yep.
Which literally meant that if you took a tin can and put it over an open fire and you poured stuff into it, regardless of what that stuff was, if it was edible or not, you could pour depleted uranium into this thing and cook it, and it would turn into a tasteless but edible mush.
Yep. It's legit. I think there is a piece of story text, a piece of fluff in the Bone Gnawer book featuring a homeless person putting empty tomato cans into a bowl and vomiting into it and just stirring and serving it to his pack.
Yes. Okay. Next one up. Next one up would be the Get a Fenris. The Get a Fenris are us. Well, except for Chris, of course.
Oh, one quick last addition to Bone Gnawers.
Yes.
Picking a Bone Gnawer for your character is doesn't mean you have to be locked to this thing I'm saying now, but is very likely to land you in Pack Omega. Because Bone Gnawers are looked down on.
They are looked down upon, yes. The Get a Fenris are...
Vikings!
Yes, Vikings! They're seen in 2 ways. A lot of outsiders, particularly the Fiana, see them as fascist, neo-Nazi bullshit brawlers with no brains and no respect and no anything.
Yeah.
A lot of other werewolves see the Get a Fenris that way, and it's true that there are factions within that tribe that are in fact neo-Nazi, fascist, bullshit creeps.
Let's be honest, their tribal rune is a swastika.
It looks like a swastika, yes. But that is legitimately a small minority of the tribe. However, they are very, very brutal. They are the front line fighters. People would rather have a Get a Fenris Ragabash standing in the front line than they would have a rune from half of the other tribes, because they are that awesome warriors. Everyone respects them for that. Only an idiot would look at a Get a Fenris and not think, oh my god, okay, yeah, I don't like you, but I'm gonna insult you, because if I do, you're gonna tear my head off, spit down the neck, shove my head up my arse, kick my backside until my head came out in the right place again.
Rasmus, make a sound. Thank you. Keep going, Joe.
that would be the that's what the Get of Fenris are. They are extremely honor bound, and they have very the reason why I would like to see one of these in this campaign is simply because of the dynamic between them and the Fianna, because the Fianna have never forgiven the Get of Fenris for the Viking invasions of Ireland, and the Get of Fenris kind of look at the Fianna like, yeah, you couldn't even defend yourselves back then. Why should we take you seriously now?
Yeah, you guys just suck.
Yes.
So I was actually looking at the table, and I was disappointed to see that an Arun can't be again a Fenris, because otherwise I would have picked it.
They're out of control. Get of Fenris Aruns typically locked in cages when they're fights.
Here's what you'll be wanting to do, Heine. You'll be wanting to sit cozy on your choice of tribe until everyone has picked a tribe, and then look at Joan, who will be jittery and sweaty, and be like, no one has picked a Get of Fenris yet, and then you'll ask, are you sure I can't play an Arun?
I'll do that.
You evil-minded foul git, Daniel. Anyway, next up, Silverfangs. Silverfangs are the ancient and noble kings of the werewolves, and then they started fucking their sisters.
No.
Yeah, they keep the family, as it says in the file somewhere. The problem with that is that while they are great and awesome heroes and super inspirational and all that shit, there isn't a Silverfang alive that doesn't have some kind of mental deficiency.
Yeah,
They all have some kind of mental illness, some more pronounced than others, of course.
That sounds like for lupus as well.
Yeah, they are a lot of fun in general.
The Silverfangs are in many ways about the breeding. If you make a Silverfang, you have a lot of clout by virtue of your breed alone.
Yes, you must, if you play a Silverfang, take a certain amount of something called pure breed, which literally is how racially pure are you. Needless to say, Bone Gnawers can't take that stat at all. Silverfangs, however, must, I believe, take 2 or is it 3 dots of it? It's thereabouts.
Something like that. They're not just... Oh, yeah, go on, Joe.
They add that all social roles towards other werewolves as automatic successes. That's how much clout they have.
Yeah, they're very important. When Joan says that they are the great and old kings of ancient times, they're still very much the tribe in control of the Garou nation for most parts. They are also not just descended from kings in the these guys used to rule the werewolves kind of sense, but in the very real physical sense. Yes. The Romanov family are Silverfangs.
Yes. So the Russian Tsars were literally Silverfangs. Yes. Yeah. So yeah, that's them. Next up, we have the Black Furies.
Oh, I'll listen now.
Black Furies are a tribe of Greek origin. Most of them still come from that area. They are an all-female tribe. Every male child that is born into this tribe is given up for adoption to one of the other tribes. Typically the children of Gaia, whom we will get to next, take them.
They used to be killed, didn't they?
Yes, they used to be killed.
They still are in some places.
They still are in some places, but that is hugely frowned upon because there are so few werewolves left that they can't be spared.
Yeah.
So any Black Fury who is discovered killing one of her own because it's a male faces the music, really.
Yeah.
But they are...
The Gaiards are screaming at them.
They are very... Yeah, they are very Mediterranean. They throw their arms up and use large gesticulations and you know, everything is a Greek drama, as I said in the file somewhere, with these creatures. They are also feminazis. There's no other term for it. They are complete feminazis. They are. If you're a man, you have one use only.
Making babies,
and then you can screw off. They raise their young in that belief. They enforce that belief. They can make male friends, but they will always look down on them.
Yeah, they tend to sneer at being called Amazons, but they have very much earned that nomiker.
Yeah, well, they do actually. Well, not all of them do. Some of them like to be called Amazons because it's they were great and powerful women. Point, of course, is that the Amazons weren't actually Greek. But yes. Next up, also about the Black Furies, we have they are very, very, very much in a sort of tribal feud with the Get of Fenris, who tend to be extremely misogynistic.
Yeah.
Women, women by and large don't rise to positions of great power within the Get of Fenris. They can, but it is very rare.
Those who do deserve it, because they have had every type of opposition.
They will have had to fight for it every step of the way, in many cases, very literally.
Physically and socially.
Yes.
That doesn't sound very Viking-like.
No, it doesn't.
No, that's because...
That's probably the neo-Nazi part, maybe.
It is. But there is actually a faction within the Get of Fenris that are made up of the... they call themselves the Shield Maidens of all things, but they are all female, obviously, and they are having some success in changing attitudes. Again, simply because there aren't enough werewolves around.
Then there are the children.
Then we have the children of Gaia, who are seen by most people as weaklings and who are really some of the most awesome werewolves out there. The children of Gaia are hippies, pot-smoking, 68, generation of 68, peaceniks who think everything is awesome and fantastic. Hey, peace, love, and happiness, dude. That sort of thing. They are also the greatest spreaders of hope, which means that, for example, vampires absolutely fucking hate them.
Yeah.
Because vampires ruled their cities through fear and oppression, and then one Children of Gaia wanders in and creates like a
drum circle.
Yeah, creates a drum circle and a hangout for abused children, and teach them how to read and write and help them get through college. And suddenly the vampires are outed.
It's the equivalent of. It makes me think of the Roman Empire and the Christians would go around the criminal gladiator pens, wouldn't they?
Yes, exactly.
Now, while the children of Gaia are usually looked on, primarily, like, they're judged by their peaceful mannerisms and their diplomatic nature, and it's very true of them that the mindset is prevalent in the tribe.
Yeah, they have the same amount of rage as every other werewolf.
Exactly, they have the exact same amount of rage, they channel it to different places and in different ways. And make no mistake, a child of Gaia, a rune, will rip off your torso and beat your extended family to death with it.
Yes.
They just...
He probably apologized to the survivors afterwards and then stomp on them.
You can just imagine, sorry.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
So yes, that's the children of Gaia. They are often seen as I said, peaceniks and therefore fairly useless in a fight. The Get of Fenris and the Black Furies absolutely despise them. They look down upon them, which is funny because the Black Furies tend to hand over all their male children to them.
Maybe that is why they don't like them. They make their children.
Yeah.
The Get of Child of Gaia quote from the old book is actually perfect for them. It's, "Of course I am children humans to respect nature instead of fear it. We destroy what we fear. That's why you kill humans, isn't it?"
Ow.
Nice.
Then we come upon the Shadow Lords.
Oh god.
Yes.
The Shadow Lords are werewolves out of Transylvania and the Balkans in general. And you think, well, quite frankly, they had to out-Dracula to survive. Which means that if you think of your archetypical Dick Dastardly twirling his mustache, he's probably a Shadow Lord. These guys are backstabbers. They are widely distrusted. I think nobody except Shadow Lords trust Shadow Lords.
Shadow Lords don't trust Shadow Lords. They know better.
Yeah, true. That's true. Nobody trusts a Shadow Lord, and if you do, you're asking for it. They are untrustworthy. They do lie if they have to. They do run away from agreements if it will benefit them in the end. If you can actually get them to swear on something, they will hold to it, but it's bloody difficult to get them to do that. They have an absolute superiority complex. They think that they are better than everyone else. They aren't, but they really believe that they are. They are powerful warriors. I will grant them that. They are strong warriors, but they're
very good at most things they do.
They are pretty damn good. They're not the best at anything, but they're good at everything they do, yes. They do manage to accrue quite a lot of mortal power, as in, the human world. They're good at that.
Yeah.
Because they are very good at manipulating people. Which is widely seen as dishonorable by many other werewolves anyway. But yes, last but not least, Glasswalkers. Glasswalkers, as the name kind of suggests, are the most technologically advanced werewolf tribe out there. Most werewolves tend to distrust anything which is more technologically advanced than rubbing two sticks together to get fire. Glasswalkers know what a computer is, and they will beat up the spirits inhabiting the computer until it stops giving them an error 40.
May I interrupt?
Yes.
Because I've been thinking about this. We are, for all intents and purposes, normal teenagers until this point, right?
Yes.
So we will know how to use a computer.
Absolutely.
I mean, you say most werewolves isn't that, but we were still humans.
Exactly. You know how to use a computer. You know how to use a cell phone, that sort of thing. Definitely, no question about that. The thing is that the Glasswalkers then build upon that and say, "Oh, it's not just a computer. It is a thing with a spirit living inside it, and I can talk to that spirit, and I can get it to do what the fuck I want."
Yeah, Joan used a bit of hyperbole for the sake of clarity.
Yes.
The thing
that
is,
also means my character won't actually start out as a raging feminazi, unless I want her to.
The thing is,
if you are a Black Fury, you would have been raised by your mother to know that men are inferior.
What if my mother died of cancer?
Then probably by your kinfolk.
Yes, then the remainder of your family who are aware of your werewolf nature will have raised you in the same spirit.
Because I didn't actually plan on having known anything about werewolf society before this.
Then that could be fixed.
I have a very important question, and that is, what exactly are our connection to this whole werewolf thing?
Sorry, Joan, go on.
Your families will have it's genetic. Being a werewolf is a genetic thing, which means that it runs in families. It is possible that one of your parents is a werewolf who married a human, or mated with a human even, or with a wolf for that matter, and then the offspring has a small chance of actually being a werewolf themselves. It could also be that your family is what's known as kinfolk. They have the werewolf gene, but it's latent and hasn't actually blossomed into, "Rawr, I'm big and strong and furry." But they can still procreate, and their children could then also have the gene, and that gene could be active, and they could therefore be werewolves.
Kinfolk can also be like families who through generation and generation have been like trusted companions of the... It's. I imagine for you, Haley, it would be kind of like how a noble family in feudal Japan could have another family serving them for generations and generations, just being like raising generation after generation of servants to this noble lineage.
Yes.
That is also kinfolk.
In a Western sense, it would be a matter of, for example, someone like me, I can't have children of my own. Therefore, whatever children my friends have, I tend to be the crazy aunt who gives them goodies and spoils them rotten and then sends them home when they start misbehaving. I'd be kinfolk.
To quickly address your point, Rasmus, is like you wanted this and that for your character. Everything can be arranged in Storyteller. It's like
everything can be arranged. If you play a Black Fury and you end up being moderate towards men, you will be ostracized by the tribe.
That is of course a thing you could want for your character.
That is possible, but they would then bar you from getting access to tribal gifts.
Unless you can sneak it out of a spirit. If you could be really deceptive.
Could it be said to be equally likely that we do or do not have knowledge of werewolves?
Yes, that's probably equally likely, yes, because a lot of kinfolk families have been kinfolk for 6 generations without a werewolf being there, so they don't actually remember that this is the case anymore. They've forgotten about it, the family has forgotten all about it.
They might have been told, like, no, this is your great-great-cousin Milfred. You need to take care of Milfred. I have no clue why the fuck I would take care of Milfred. Guy's an asshole, right? But then eventually the change hits and suddenly shit's getting real.
Mm-hmm. That sort of thing. So it's not... quite often, when you have your first change, as it's called, you have no idea previously that this is going to happen. And very, very often, your family will have no idea that it's about to happen. It is up to the individual, each of you, to decide whether your family would know or not know. If you are, in fact, the child of a werewolf, then the list of werewolves that are present in Dublin is in the fluff file as well.
Yep.
Okay.
Right, so Glasswalkers.
Yes.
Some of you might have asked yourself, why do they get to interact with technology? The quick answer that will not go too far into details because we need to pick tribes, is that other werewolves take their powers from Mother Gaia and her spirits, but Glasswalkers take their powers from the control spirit called the Weaver.
Yes.
And therefore they can interact with stuff that is more modern, because the Weaver is all about what is modern.
Yes, however, this also means that obviously that they are slightly distrusted by other werewolves.
Yeah.
But most other werewolves these days will acknowledge that, yeah, all right, we might not understand them, but they're really useful.
Yeah, like the Glasswalker philosophy is, entrapping Gaia in concrete is like just giving her armor, right?
Yes.
Not all werewolves sympathize with that statement.
No. I'm going to find there's a classic picture of a glasswalker I always liked.
Is that the one where she's shaving her legs?
No, it's the one where she's where you have this werewolf standing, looking out a window in a corporate building with his back turned to a crushed computer.
Ah, yeah.
looking over his shoulder with an angry glare at this computer, like, you didn't do as I want. I can't find that picture, unfortunately, but yes.
Alright, so those are the tribes. As I said, I think I would like to play a Shadow Lord.
Yes.
For several reasons. Main reason is that seems like the perfectest class, the perfectest tribe for me to start shit.
Okay. So we have a Glasswalker, we have a Black Fury, we have a Shadow Lord. What about the rest of you?
I'm thinking maybe Children of Gaia.
Oh.
I don't think Joan objects to duplicate tribes.
No, I don't.
No, but she wants a Fiana. She wants a Fiana.
We need a Fiana, and I would desperately like someone to pick a Get a Fenris.
Oh, that would be Heine.
Joan, I can play a Get a Fenris.
Yeah, you would, you kiss.
You just have to give a little, Joan. Just
a little.
Oh, I hate you guys.
No. Okay, let's see. If I play... What was the other one?
What do you have in mind?
I originally wanted to be a child of Gaia because I couldn't... Because I'm desperate to play a Welshman, even though... And obviously being Fiana, I'd have to be Irish, or at least have Irish descent.
You can be a Fiana who's not of Irish descent, but they might be if you go back 2 millennia.
The Fiana are very strong in all of the British Isles. They are strongest in Ireland, but they're strong in all of the British Isles.
I would also have to change my Auspice to match. So
he can't be a Gaillard.
I can't be a Gaillard with a Fiana. Because then I'd have to. That would be again. That's the leader archetype, and quite frankly, I don't really want to end up stuck in that position. I can't be a Get a Fenris Gaillard either. So,
Gnawers, Silverfang, Children of Gaia, Shadow Lord, or Glasswalker. We already have one of.
Hera, how much are you prepared to give on being Children of Gaia?
I'll let you have it. I mean,
Come
I'm
join
not...
me as a misandrist.
No, I will not be. I'm not going to be Tumblr for this entire thing.
Okay.
I like that.
I mean, I had the thought for a second, hey, and then I thought, nope, way too long to play. To give my. I'm going to end up with a headache if I have to play that out for so long.
Yeah. Well, you have some other choices, obviously.
Yeah.
If Hela is resolute, I will perhaps consider changing to a.
Well, Hela, you could do a Fina Ragabash.
Yeah, I could. I'm thinking, well, it has to be either Fina get a Fenris or Children of Gaia, and it's obviously going to be quite probably going to be a quite different character depending on which one I take.
Yeah, Ragabash is a Get a Fenris.
The Get a Fenris Ragabashes, I think, are fun, primarily because they, quite frankly, the pranks they play tend to be pretty brutal.
Yeah, as a throwout,
when I think it hurts.
Yeah, I think.
What is that?
Chris.
Yeah, sorry. I think of Get a Fenris Ragabash as we mentioned before, like Loki.
Yes.
And I think Children of Gaia Ragabash. I think blessed are the cheesemakers rather than blessed are the peacemakers.
Pretty much.